Alright, so you're going to review of the EA500LM by Simgot. This is a $90 set of single dynamic driver IEMs. Simgot did send this out to me for review, so I really do appreciate that. And yeah, let's get right into this. First of all, this box looks kind of crazy. Like the print is like very metallic-y silver. It's got this astrology thing going on. I don't really get it, but interesting, I guess. It does have these hands that look kind of like my logo. Which is kind of cool. If you put a headphone right here, it's a pretty cool coincidence. Anyway, let's get into this here. Let's throw it to the side, open this up, take this box out, take this out, and take this out. And you got a little quality assurance card there. Let's put this to the side. Let's open this up. Here, there we go. Tips should be in here, yep. These are important, we'll talk about that in a second. Alright, you got the IEMs in this little foam insert. We'll take these out. And let's take out what the case and the cable. And this booklet you do not care about. And that's about it. Alright, first of all, the case, it's generic. It's an afterthought. You can tell that there's no even branding on it. It's just a regular generic case. But it's fine. It's usable. I wouldn't... nothing special about it. It's small enough, I guess, to fit in a pocket, but it's nothing special. And I got a cable in here. We got some tuning nozzles and some more tuning nozzles. So that's great for having to test out this much stuff. And then some plastic rings that I don't really understand why these are in here. These are the rings that kind of determine which nozzle is what. You know, I got this red ring here for determining that's the red one. These are silver. And there's a black ring on these ones. We'll get into that in a second. But I don't know why they give you more of these. I don't know what it's for, but it's there if you want that, I guess. Alright, so let's talk about first the build quality. First of all, the build is incredible. I love the build. I think these are really well made for the price at $90. Probably the best build I've seen under 100, maybe even under 200. These feel premium. These feel hefty. They've got some kind of like substantialness to them. They got a weight to them in the hand, but they're not heavy in your ears. They're very ergonomic. They're very comfortable. I found these to be very comfortable to wear for a long period of time. No issues there. They are trying to make me do an early face reveal, but you can just ignore that. These are they're reflective. They are fingerprint magnets, though. Of course, like every other metal thing is very fingerprint magnet prone. And yeah, overall build very nice. I love the build. And then so now let's go to the cable real quick. Cable, nothing special. It's pretty straight. It stays pretty straight. It's got a weird coating to it, but overall it feels fine. I'm not a fan of the colors of the cable, but overall for $90, it's a perfectly fine cable. I have no issues with it. And yeah, I don't think there's anything particularly bad about this cable. It stays straight, stays rolled up. It's a good cable at the price. Now let's talk about what you are here for, the sound. First thing I want to get off right off the bat is I almost thought these things sucked. for a second. The reason being that I first used these with the CP100 spin fits I use on almost all my IEMs. These sound very similar to the stock tips. So when I first tried these out, I tried the stock tips, tried the spin fits. I was like, both sound pretty close. I guess I'll just stick to the spin fits. And I kept getting a lot of sibilance problems. These were very sharp for me on all the tips, all the what do you call them, nozzles. And then I tried later with the stock tips, just, you know, to make sure. And indeed, it was the spin fits that were making them too sharp for me to bear. It is a very slight difference because the signature doesn't seem to change. It's just a little bit more sibilant on these. But these are not dark IEMs. These are still pretty bright, and they do have quite a bit of treble. Now we're going to get into that right now. I did use the small set of these stock tips throughout the tuning and throughout the what do you call it, testing process. All right, and now right before we get into these tips, I know a lot of stuff. It is because a lot of this is a very flexible sounding IEM. Simgot was also kind enough to send me the tuning kit. And this is a really interesting set of foam what do you call these, little foam pieces and nozzle covers to change the tuning of the set of IMs. I will go over this at the end. I'll have a timestamp in the description on when I go over this, so we can just focus on the main thing for now, and then those of you interested in the tuning kit can skip to that. Alright, so sound. First of all, the black tuning nozzles are the worst sounding things I have ever heard in my entire life. Do not use these with any tips, with anything. They are shouty. This is hearing damage simulator right here. This is a shouty, sounds very stretched out, just sibilant mess. It's just overall horrible, and I wouldn't recommend it. The reason I have it on the IEMs right now is because I wanted to be able to just point to the two things I'm actually going to recommend you to listen to. The black ring nozzles are the worst things ever. I don't know what is this? What even is this? With a driver and build and all this quality, and then you put this thing on it? No. Don't use these nozzles. They suck. They really suck. Anyway, at least maybe if you buy the tuning kit, you can just use that nozzle with the tuning kit. Okay, let's talk about the two tips that actually matter here: the brass tips and the silver tips with the red nozzles here. The red ring. I'm just gonna call them the silver tips from now on. You know I'm not talking about these if I'm saying anything good. Anyway, let's talk about the difference between these both. Starting off with the bass. The bass is excellent on both these sets. Both these nozzles. The bass is punchy, it's detailed, it's clear for the price, of course. It got texture, it's got really good punch. It hits well, but it's not emphasized. And I wouldn't say this is a good set for bass heads in general. It is a V-shaped tuning, but it's a V-shape that leans more towards the treble. There is much more treble here than bass and mids. It's not to the point where it gets too fatiguing, but it is to the point where I do get slight discomfort even with these stock tips. But it's not like an unbearable amount, especially since as switching to stock tips, I had a much more pleasant experience with that. The ch noises and the kind of ch and ts noises in certain songs would start to bother me, especially when I was using spin fits. Using the stock tips, it does reduce that effect, but it's still a little bit there, and you'll notice it maybe over very extensive periods of listening. It's much less noticeable on these than these. These are more for treble heads, I think, but also these are more energetic. So I'll talk about that when I get to the treble and the mids. But for the bass, they probably have the same amount of bass, to be honest. Both not bass emphasized, but they have their normal amount of bass. Middle of the road for the amount. Quality is good. It's punchy. It's detailed. It's got texture. It's a great bass at this price. Going on to the mid range. The mid range I really like the mid range on this set, especially with the brass tips. Much more with the brass tips than these tips. So the brass tips, it's got an energetic mid range. It is not really too forward. It's still got a distance away from you, but it's got great note weight and it's got great body to the vocals. This is something I noticed with a lot of budget sets have trouble with. It's with body and with note weight. But these manage to have the body and note weight of something in a higher price range. It's got great body, great note weight. It's just overall a very pleasant, smooth mid-range. Female vocals come across very naturally, and overall there's no metallic timbre, great timbre, beautiful mid-range. Instruments sound great. Overall, with the instruments and the vocals and mid-range overall sounds great. Going on, and also I do want to mention though, this was one problem I had with the silver tips though. The silver tips have a great mid-range, very similar to this, but I noticed that the mid-range is less energetic on the silver tips, a lot less energetic than with the brass tips. They're the same quality, both have great note weight, but the separation between the bass and the mids is a little bit more blurred for the silver tips than the brass tips. I noticed that there's a little bit of bass bleed into the mid-range with the silver tips. It's not a detrimental problem. It's not like a huge deal breaker for me, but it is something I noticed during the testing, is that the bass separation from the mid-range is much better with the brass nozzles. Now, overall though, with the mid-range, for the silver nozzles, the quality is as good as the brass, but it's less energetic. It's more calm, less fatiguing, and not as much in your face as these are. Not that these are in your face, but they're not as fatiguing. They're more calm, more relaxing sounding mid-range. Now onto the treble. The treble on these is where I'm iffy here. The quality of the treble, in a sense of detail and extension, is the best you'll find in this price range. This has detail in all of the frequency ranges that I haven't seen under $100. You know, when the Hexa came out, that was shocking to everyone. It changed the game in the market, I think, really, the Hexa. And these are very close to the Hexa in price, and these destroy the Hexa in terms of detail, and overall, just you can tell that they use a very good driver in here, and you can tell that overall, technically, these are really, really good at the price. Really excellent technicalities on these. Imaging is fantastic. It's got a good stage. Stage is like here. It's above average, especially in this price range, above average stage, and the separation is excellent. Imaging is excellent. Technically, like with technicalities, these have great technicalities. Now, but the problem with the treble is again that slight amount of sibilance. It's not, again, like I said before, it's not a deal breaker, but especially for treble sensitive people, it can become a problem. It also is a huge mood thing for me. You know, sometimes I'm in the mood for something more energetic, but also sometimes I want a more calm signature, and in those cases, I wouldn't use these. Even with the silver nozzles that are a bit more calm, it still has that chance problem every once in a while. Now, it's, again, not a problem that makes me not want to use these at all. If I'm in the mood, especially for something more energetic, these are a very enjoyable set. But in those times where, you know, you're tired and you just want to listen to something to relax, that noises kind of are annoying. But for people who don't ever experience treble sensitivity, they're just like, what is too much treble? What are you talking about? Let me go grab my Bear Dynamics and my Grado headphones and listen all day, every day. For those people, and the people who are treble heads that really want that treble spicing detail, like excellent extension, but to the point where for some people it's uncomfortable, these are the best things you can get. I think even under $200, to be honest, for a treble head. For a treble head, these are incredible. But for the average listener, or for a bass head, average listener, if you want something more neutral, not too much bass, not too much treble, good amount of mid-range, these are excellent if you don't have too much sensitivity. If you're sensitive, I don't know if I could recommend these to you. Now on to a comparison with the EW200. I wanted to mention this because these actually do have a pretty similar signature. Simgot asked me, you know, hey, do you think you can do a comparison with the EW200? I thought actually that'd be a pretty good idea, because you see if there's an upgrade path, you know, the Simgot upgrade path. And I think that I can see especially why they wanted me to do this, because there is a huge similarity in the tuning, in my opinion, on these two. And it's that treble quality emphasis. This is the best treble I've heard under $50. And now this is the best treble I've heard under $200. And they're both made by Simgot. That is impressive. I think that the amount of market takeover Simgot is having here because of these two sets, for the people who love treble, it's crazy. I think that if you're a treble head, Simgot's a company to look out for. Now, let's talk about a comparison now, finally. For the treble, of course, this is going to do better. This has better detail in the treble, but I think they have a similar amount of extension. I think that this gets a little bit more sharp than these, but it's close. These also are a very bright set. Are they as bright as these? No, but are they bright? Yes. In terms of mid-range, these you're getting a much more full body, better note weight mid-range than these. Like I said, budget sets tend to have a note weight problem and a body problem. a body, like I said, like the vocals don't have a good note weight to it in a lot of budget sets, and this is no exception. These lack a bit of note weight, especially in the mid-range, but that's normal for a lot of sets under 100, but not for these, which is very impressive. So you do get better note weight, better body on the on the EA500LM. In terms of bass, these have a similar amount of bass as well, but I'd say these have a little bit more emphasis, but these have a lot more punch, a lot more slam. Texture-wise, similar, but a little bit of an edge to this as well, but it's got excellent punch and slam and texture for this price. Overall, I can see why these have been hyped so much. At first I didn't get it because I had that whole problem with the spin fits. I was like, what the? This is a liked set of IEMs? But after because of the amount of people that like it, to be honest, I was just like, there's no way I'm having this much problems, and switching to the stock tips was like, okay, now I see why. These are an excellent set. I have no real huge deal breaker things to say other than that treble, if it's a deal breaker for you. It's an excellent set of IEMs, and it has my full recommendation. Now I'm going to be going over the tuning kit. So now we're going to talk about the tuning kit. Sorry for the cut. This tuning kit does retail for around $6 on AliExpress. I don't think you can get it anywhere else, but if you can, I will put that in the description. Alright, so let's get into this. And hello to all the people who did skip to this part of the video. And thank you to all of you who stuck around to this part. Alright, let's take this out here. It just comes in this bag. There's no box. It just comes in this bag. Alright. And thank you to Simgot for sending me the tuning kit as well. Alright, so I am not some expert IEM tuner. Okay, so I have actually never really tuned an IEM before, did tuning with some headphones for fun before, but for IEMs, I've never actually messed with tuning. But this is a great place to start. And I was able to get some very interesting results just messing around. But I don't really have any recommendations for you because I'm not that great at tuning things, at least for now. But this is a really good place to start if you want to start tuning, or if you are already someone who tunes things. This does have some good things for you. So first of all, it does come with these tweezers, which I hate. These are very bad tweezers. This is $6 though. I think the main thing you're getting is for these. I'd recommend using a different pair of tweezers. Having your own set is much better than having these. So we do have some foams here. So these are different densities of foam. I know that it looks like there's only 2 in here, but only 2 comes in there. But no, it is, I believe, 3 sets of each. I think I lost one of them. And so, but they do come with different densities of foams. And then you're going to come with these 3 different tuning cloths, like these covers for like wax guards. But they also do change the tunings for like how small the holes are, how narrow the holes are, and the mesh is. That will change the sound. And then it will come with these sealing rings, which are the little rings at the back of these nozzles, which does come with an extra set of nozzles for the tuning purposes. So as you can see, the ring is already on there, and I have some foam in this one here. So pretty much what you would do is you would take this foam out with like with the tweezers, and you can change it out with this foam, or if you have your own foam, you can put your own foam in there, etc. It's kind of like a fun little thing that for $6, I think if you're interested in tuning your own set of IEMs, and you don't want to spend too much money, this is a great way to do it, because the EA500LM already has a great build and great drivers in it. So anything you want to do to change the tuning, this is a great set of IEMs to do it in. And this is a really good kit for just starting out. If you want to take the mesh out here, well, I think you get it. I don't think I need to show you me taking this mesh out. It's also going to take forever because these tweezers suck. But you could just always take this out from here. Again, I recommend using a different pair of tweezers. And then you would apply one of these, and you can change the sound to your liking. I did try to take out inch noises from the 500LM with this tuning kit. I'm not talented enough to do that. I tried, couldn't do it. Even when I aimed, I was actually able to make it sound kind of warm sounding as a set of IEMs, but it just wasn't enough. It would still, the noises would persist. But that was when I was using spin fits. Using normal tips, I don't think it's going to be very easy for me to figure out which one of these would get rid of just that noise and keep the signature that I like from the brass nozzles and the silver nozzles. Not, of course, the terrible black ring other nozzles. Anyway, this is just a small little overview of what comes in the tuning kit. If you are interested in that, I will have it in the description as well. And yeah, that's about it. See ya.